Hi, so this might be a really odd video considering I am sort of reviewing what I had in my hospital bag. I didn't use half of it because of all the complications that we had, but I thought that some reflections would be helpful. Okay, I didn't have my absolute heart set on, an absolutely natural birth and what have you. I was ready to take whatever assistance I needed to, and I was ready to go for whatever came up. And I certainly did pack assuming that I could be in for far more days than just the 24 hours. 24 hours was for a standard uncomplicated birth. Mine was beyond complicated, so I was there for a while. If it's possible that you could be in for a short amount of time, that it was likely you're going to be in for a short amount of time, but it's possible that you could be in for longer, I would make kind of arrangements so that you being in for a longer time wouldn't be such a bad thing. So bring heaps more knickers or heaps more pads or, oh, that's one more thing. Still writing my notes. I would just assume in a variety of cases that it's quite likely that you might need to spend a longer time. Shit happens and you may plan for a lot of things, and I'm sure it will go ahead as planned, but things happen and they might be beyond your control, and you may need to deal with things differently. So yeah, I really didn't think that I was going to have a cesarean, but I knew that there was a possibility of it. So regardless of your plans, always assume there's a possibility of having a C-section and plan for it. I found it a little bit difficult having a shower. I needed assistance from the nurses, or used the stools available in the shower. And shampooing my hair was the last thing on my mind. I just didn't care. I wanted to have a shower relatively quickly. I'd feel really kind of dizzy in them, with the temperature differences being a little bit warmer than normal, and just being up out of my bed sometimes was just a sensory overload was a little difficult for me. So dry shampoo is a really good idea, especially when you want to, it might be odd for some people that might watch these videos and seeing women talking about their makeup or things that make them feel pretty. But I can tell you, for one, if you're having a bit of a rough day, or it's longer than you wanted, or there was some issues, then having these little luxuries like clean hair and clean, presentable face can make a huge difference. I had my hair cut in hospital, and it was one of the nicest things that I had. It took forever to have my hair done in hospital, but and I went through hell. So I was allowed to have a damn haircut and have my hair did the foils and everything, and it made a huge difference when I look at myself in the mirror and I felt fresh. So dry shampoo when you feel like crap and you want to not bother about washing your hair and drying it and styling it and all that, it will be great. I didn't have it in a hospital. I've had it at home since, when it was a little difficult to have a shower still, and being in the shower, and doing my hair would sometimes be a bit much. So that's a big one for the list, I think. You never know how long your labour will be. It could be as short as a friend of ours who had a 3-hour labour, or it could be as long as mine, which was bloody well 24 and then didn't stop. Snacks are great. It's unlikely you're going to stop for a meal, but you need high energy stuff. I bought, I don't wear dressing gowns around the house, but I bought one from Target, and it was just a new dressing gown I've never worn before, and so to get around, you know, I would take little walks around my ward just to get a little bit of exercise, get away from my bed, get away from my room. I took a couple of trips down to the nursery to see Chloe and to have this nice simple dressing gown on made me feel very respectable. It was clean and it was going over, you know, some you know, stuff that I've been obviously wearing to bed. It took me a day or two to kind of have day clothes and then you know, night clothes. Mostly it was just the one outfit really. So to have a nice nightgown to walk around the ward is really nice. I also wore Ugg boots everywhere. Big knickers. This is a big thing. For some reason, I'd had all interventions, including a cesarean, and for some reason I was really bloated or winded or something. I had a lot of gas, or I don't know, it sounds terrible. But when I'd actually bought some really cheap big knickers from Target, but they had just a small elastic band around the waist, and that was too much. That was actually, I had to like overstretch them so they would break a little bit and have far more give. So if you can find knickers that have elastic free around the waist and the legs, you'll love me for it. And get it in, you know, I went to about a size 10 and I got size like 12 knickers, and they were great. I'd even kind of go one size more and just get one or two of them just in case. We had one roller bag and two other bags, and I would recommend having a roller bag of some sort. It makes it so much easier, and you can always put another bag on top of that for easy to keep it, to move it easily. So you can just be carrying kind of the roller bag, moving the roller bag and having an extra bag, but having three, if you know what I mean. I bought just whatever box I could find of, they're not nipple shields as I wrote down, but breast pads, breastfeeding pads. I bought just a random box of disposable ones. Nothing very exciting about them, but even after, because there was a point where there was a decision we needed to make about Chloe, and at that point, before that, I had been expressing, albeit impossibly uncomfortably. I ended up taking a tablet to stop the hormone, a lactation hormone, so I just took a tablet to stop that. But so I was kind of leaking a little for several days, and I know that you can get reusable breast pads. Can I just tell you, in hospital they're completely useless. Get yourself a little box of disposable breast pads, because you probably will go through them a little bit and you don't want to be, you know, you kind of want to be kind of clean there. So I would not highly recommend washable ones, especially whilst I invest in a couple of disposable ones, especially for hospital. And if you don't end up using them or whatever, then you can always hand them on to a friend or use them some other way. That was kind of all that I had. Sadly, we didn't really get to use our baby bag, which totally sucks. Dal certainly appreciated having a change of underwear in our bag. I ended up using a towel from the hospital, so I didn't bring a towel. I did not bring my own pillow. I couldn't be asked. I think that's kind of it. Yeah. Kind of take a message. I think a lot of people get really focused on having the perfect birth and